Okay, just want to give out some smoking tips and see what other people think. And well, so this is just a blended mound of ground turkey, and normally I do beef, but this has just some generic McCormick hamburger seasoning that I wanted to try. Normally I do it fairly plain, or with some thinly sliced onions and stuff like that, but this has had a consistent stream like this of basically pecan smoke. I got these to use up, which are onion, garlic, paprika, Kingsford charcoals that have been sitting around for a while. And I'm crumbling that up. And the trick is, I've let this sit in the smoke in basic heat. I tend to, because this is a little low, it needs to get a little bit hotter, but if you can hold your hand above it for about 6 seconds, that's typically what I consider to be, a good temperature where the fat is slowly rendering. And you can see here how I create a mound of charcoals. This is very coveted. This is lump charcoal bark. There you go. So the bark is one way to get a lot of depth to flavor. I use Kingsford typically as a base of heat. And then I take lump charcoal. These are some oak, some just basic hardwood. Today we're trying pecans. So the trick here is that you don't want your chips to burn. So you don't want your chips to burn. And they should basically, these are from last year. It's the first time I'm growing this year, so. But this is how they should look. I make when it gets too hot, an insulator, and it slowly roasts the chips. And you can see here, like, some are charcoal, and some are resinous still. Look how it kind of has a glossiness to it. And personally, I think older chips work better than newer chips. Don't soak them, because you get like a disgusting steaminess flavor that's just fucking gross. I'm about to flip this. It hasn't been flipped yet, but ground turkey is a different color, so you can see how it's slowly developing a smoke color. Typically I leave it open because it just seems to work really well to use an offset smoker like this for me. And so the benefit is that these become great starter as well for any apps, any use, like how to, if you don't have lighter fluid or something that can, or like those, what is it, it's like wax starter compound too. I love those because you don't get any fuel flavor. But since this is the first grilling this year, I had to season the grate, and I usually do that by high heat and lots of Kingsford starter fluid. And so this is ready to be flipped. Let's see. It's nice and solid, so I think it's falling apart. I fold it very slowly and softly because I learned how to make meatballs. And when you make meatballs, come on. This is the worst spatula. Look how small this thing is. That we should get a nice color here. There you go. All right. So what this is going to do is change color slowly over time as it rests above the heat too. And I flipped this after an hour at reasonable heat, and that'll get your meat to slowly the fats to render and the meat to be utterly soft. And you don't want too much of the black residue, right? If it's seasoned properly and carbonized. Like this grate, I need to clean it. This one is beautifully seasoned, and it works fantastic. This one sat on the side, and I never used it because I only cooked for myself. So I've been trying to work on the seasoning on it, and you can tell it's pitting and stuff. But given time, it'll be okay. What else do I want to say? You know, lump charcoal like this is the best fucking stuff. But this, I found this in a bag, and I was shocked. So I've been saving this for like a filet mignon or something, you know, because this is gonna have unbelievably good flavor, and it'll cook a very long time. Maybe a ribeye, honestly. That's kind of what I was planning. Yeah, not a filet. Fillets cook so quick. But see, it's already changing naturally on its own, and it's getting darker. Isn't that weird? But the heat cools, and you can see it's slowly changing, like right there. You just don't want a fire. You don't want a flame. You want a good heat where right here you can hold it for about 6 seconds, and then you're like, okay, I can feel my hand cooking. And you know, these are just so I make a folded thing, but the tin foil has been melting lately. Like, this is supposed to be heavy, the heavy duty stuff from what, Reynolds or whatever it's called. Yeah, Reynolds. And like, this is the heavy duty, and it's really melting when I use it now. It's not like it was some years ago. But then you just want this smooth stream of smoke. And I've been doing this for 10 years now, and sometimes you can cook it too slow. But this is about 1.5 pounds, and I'll just eat it with a fork because it's got so much depth of flavor that, and, we'll see. But I'm trying to bring out the natural flavor of the meat, the fats, the seasonings, and the smoke, and create something that you don't really need a condiment for. I rarely ever made an actual burger. It's kind of developing some redness, and so I'm going to cook it another hour on this side, and then flip it over. Sometimes a half an hour to an hour, just, you know, it feels right. Flip it again, and then it's done after another period of cooking. And sometimes you can get it just right, and you flip it once, and you don't mesh up these grill lines. But these coals I'm using, that I use for a base, are like really heavy, gigantic ones that they're like this big instead of, you know, Kingsford. They're like this big, and so this is just a way to make your chips last the longest, because this will, like this, if they don't turn to ash, you get the temperature just right and the insulator just right. This pile will last about an hour smoking like that. And oh my god! So your goal is to smell the wood, and it leaves a resinous layer on top, and along with depth of penetration and things. But it's just, God, it smells so good. It doesn't smell like burning wood. It smells like, or ash or something, like a cigarette smells. It smells like real, just pecan wood from a freshly cut tree almost. I think that's everything I wanted to say, and I took up way more time than I thought I would.